Hello everyone, happy Easter. I hope you guys are having a great day. It is April 4th, and today I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about tomorrow's severe weather, and we're going to talk about what kind of severe weather we could see for the rest of the week. So yeah, let's go and get started. So I hope you guys are having a good Easter so far. But this week does look kind of interesting for severe weather. It's not going to be in the same areas you've been watching for the past couple of weeks. We are going to see severe weather in the south, most likely, where we've had our tornado outbreaks. But I'm not expecting any significant tornado outbreaks like that. But it does look like we're also going to have severe weather in different places. So let's get started. So this is our day 2 convective outlook for tomorrow, which is Monday. And we can see we have a marginal risk stretching from Minnesota down into Nebraska. And then we have a little marginal risk in areas of the Texas Panhandle. And with this threat, we have a less than 2% tornado risk, 5% wind, and 5% hail. I feel like we could get maybe a slight risk in Minnesota and Wisconsin for hail and wind. I feel like that's definitely possible. So let's get started. So we're gonna forecast tomorrow first, and we're gonna go on Tuesday, Wednesday. So tonight, this is around 02Z tonight. You can see some spotty convection along this front, or along looks to be. Our front's right there, we can tell because winds switch directions right there. Winds coming out of the north right here, winds coming out of the south right here. Along that, we could have some isolated convection, maybe in northeastern Iowa, southwestern Wisconsin. That's indicated by the NAM3 or the NAM nest. And then in southern Nebraska, northern Kansas, we have maybe some convection too. Throughout the night, nothing significant, maybe some convection along that front. But then tomorrow evening in Minnesota, we have very strong storms fire up, move to the southeast, and the NAM3 does seem to have make these storms mainly linear. But large hail and damaging winds are the main concern. Let's take some soundings. So let's go to my pen here, 21Z. I'm not using pivotal weather because pivotal weather is having some kind of data issue, and it's kind of useless right now. So we're gonna College of DuPage takes a while. Their soundings don't load well, but it should work. It's just taking a while. Okay, so finally, okay, it's contaminated, of course. So let's get a new one. So we're gonna take one further to the southeast. Let's take one right here, and we're gonna let that load, and then we can. So you see, yeah, that moves to the southeast. We could even have some more storms further to the southwest, in areas in Nebraska and Iowa. Let's take a sounding with some of those. All right, so this is the sounding we got in Minnesota. This overall is not bad. This would definitely support a very large hail risk. Look at these lapse rates; those are great, and we have plenty of instability. It's not very capped. Now we do have capping, especially around right here, but that's about it. Overall, not an extremely capped sounding, but it is capped nevertheless. So that is going to be a problem. We'll have to see if we can break that cap. This cap is breakable, though. Not like some of the soundings we're going to take for Tuesday later in the video. And shear profiles are not bad. This would support tornadoes. I think the SPC could put a 2% in. The only problem is we don't have a lot of moisture. It is capped, like I said. And the shear is, once again, the shear is not perfect. But this is definitely supportive right there. And this Hodo is not terrible. This sounding would mainly favor severe weather, large hail, damaging winds, but you could get an isolated tornado out of this, for sure. That's overall not a terrible sounding. Now this one in Nebraska, this is contaminated, so let me get a new one. Let's take it right here, and we're gonna get rid of that one and this one. Yeah, this is not a bad sounding. Now let's let this one load. And we're going to go ahead and go into Tuesday. So I think the SPC could issue maybe a slight risk for even maybe Minneapolis and areas in Wisconsin. I'm thinking they're going to issue a slight risk by tomorrow, for sure. Now our sounding has loaded. This is a lot worse. So this problem with this sounding is there's several problems. First of all, these shear profiles I do not like at all. This is really not going to support tornadoes. Instability. We have instability. This is an extremely capped sounding. That's just going to choke storms. to death, and we can see it's very capped also. Definitely, this is not a good sounding right here. And once again, I think this is a little elevated. Not too much, but it is slightly elevated. This is not going to really do too much. I don't think they're going to put a slight risk down here. I don't think they're going to. I think they need to put one in Minnesota, maybe Wisconsin also. And that's what I think they're going to do. I'm thinking they're going to do it maybe like this area right there. Maybe not that big, but that general area. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking now. Tuesday, we could have some morning convection, and along the front in Kansas and Oklahoma, the NAM3 indicates some cells going off. Several problems with that area down there. First of all, let's go to dew points. On Tuesday afternoon, we can see we have very moist dews in the 60s along the dry line, and very, very moist environment. Take some soundings. Let's take one in north central Kansas here. First of all, let's go take a look at the convective outlook for Tuesday. Tuesday, we already have a slight risk. For Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. If we take a sounding, let's let it load. That's one thing I do not like about College of Dew page. This is not going to do anything. This is a terrible sounding. First of all, this is the main problem with this is this is so capped. It's just unbelievable. That's not happening. That's not going to break. That barely even has a chance of breaking. Let's take one further to the south. We can take one in southern Kansas. Now let's go back to, while it's loading, let's go back to simulated reflectivity. The NAM3 just indicates kind of a dying, maybe kind of like an MCS type thing throughout the night. Damaging winds and large hail, main threats, maybe a tornado. Let's see what this sounding has for us. Yeah, this is once again not good. This is contaminated though, so let's get a new one. I'm going to take one at 00Z. Yeah, these storms, they don't get going too well. They just get capped, so that's not good. At 22Z, we're going to take one right here and see what kind of sounding this is. But overall, Tuesday doesn't look too good. I'm actually kind of surprised the SPC went straight ahead and put a slight risk in. Tuesday it's a very capped environment, but it does kind of worry me if the capping is overdone with the models and we don't actually have a lot of capping. Because these storms could do something. It could be pretty strong if we don't have a lot of capping. And I do think the cap will break in some areas. So let's take a look at the sounding we have. This is in front of those storms. This is going to choke the storms out. We don't have a lot of... This is capped. We have plenty of instability, though. Lapse rates are decent. Not really at the surface, though. And we do have decent shear. Still not really good shear. But that could support maybe a weak tornado. Problem is that this is very capped, and that's just not good. That could be breakable maybe. Now this is not as capped as our other sound, or as a sounding we took 2 soundings ago. But this is still very capped. That's gonna be a cap that is hard to break. We can take a sounding in northern Oklahoma, see what this one has. Now I'm sorry that College of Dew page's soundings take a long time to load. One reason I never use College of Dew page for soundings is because they take forever to load. Now this is much better here actually. So several things about northern Oklahoma. We have plenty of instability, even a little bit more. Not capped. This cap is definitely breakable. It could still maybe limit storms a little bit, but it's definitely breakable. And shear profiles are not great. They're kind of okay, and that HOTO is not bad. This is definitely going to be proposed maybe a weaker tornado threat with it. So I'd say maybe northern Oklahoma right now is looking the best according to the NAM3. Now in tomorrow's video, we're going to use the HRRR. So yeah, now let's go ahead and go to the normal NAM, and we're going to go out to Wednesday. So Wednesday is the day that the SPC has outlined. I think Wednesday is going to be a very interesting day for severe weather. 15% in Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and even areas of southwestern Tennessee. Now, let's take a look and see what kind of environment we have. So we've got an instability, and I don't think instability is going to be much. Yeah, instability is not going to be a problem. We have CAPE around 1,000 to 1,500 in some areas. Maybe even an isolated severe weather threat in Illinois and Iowa with this. Take a sounding in Iowa. This might be contaminated due to precipitation. Yeah, this doesn't look too good. First of all, that doesn't really look too good for organized tornadic development. And yeah, these shear profiles just really aren't it. I don't like the looks of this sounding at all for tornadoes. Maybe some hail out of this, and maybe some definitely damaging ones for sure. Not really tornadoes. I'm not thinking tornadoes for that sounding. Now we take a sounding. Let's take one right where we have this highest amount of cape. Now I know it's kind of cherry picking soundings right there. It's just a little bit contaminated, but we are still gonna look at it. This worries me a lot here. We have decent shear. This Hodo though is what catches my eye. That shape right there is kind of not what we want to see. It's very enlarged and it curves right. It curves. That's a great curve. Critical angle is 60, which is not terrible. This is a good sounding here. Only problem is once again not really capped. Lapse rates aren't extremely good with this, but they're not terrible. I'm kind of worried about Wednesday. I feel like Wednesday could maybe go enhanced or even moderate. Wednesday. I know that's kind of a bold prediction for Wednesday. I'm not going to really say it's going to go moderate yet. This is still far out. I'm thinking by day one we could get an enhanced with this. Wednesday looks pretty interesting in that area, and overall this looks it kind of reminds me of some of the earlier outbreaks we've had back in March in a way, especially that Hodo. Kind of reminds me of the high risk events we had now. I don't mean that to scare anybody at all, but in a way, it kind of reminds me of those high risks. Now, I don't think we're going to get a high risk out of this, but definitely possible. So we zoomed into the southeast here. Thursday, we're going to have our front continuing to move to the east. Can't really see it here, so I don't really know why I got this up. Let's go back to precipitation type and continental U.S. And Thursday, we can see maybe some convection Louisiana, Mississippi. Let's take a sounding there. We're not going to go too in depth for Thursday yet, but Thursday looks, just by looking at this sounding, Thursday looks maybe to be another interesting day. Decent shear profiles, not perfect once again, but this Hodo though, this would support tornadoes. I think Wednesday and Thursday could be pretty big days. I'm not talking high risk or anything. I think Wednesday is going to be bigger than Thursday as of right now, but Thursday is something to watch, and I think Thursday is going to be very active. But yeah, that wraps up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be back tomorrow. But yes, goodbye.